been waiting for. Feel the right in a world of time for sure. Na 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 na. Got to get that feeling.
Hello, what's happening? I am here with Hardy Patel. Yay!
Yay.
How are you, love?
I am doing wonderful.
Yay! I'm so excited to have you on.
I know last time, when was I on last time? Like a year ago, 2 years, like when you started it, right?
Nah, it was probably longer than that, actually.
Yeah, it was definitely after you started it. I remember we just got into a whole conversation about floating.
Yes.
So that's where I just came from. But today we're not going to talk about the float place.
Okay. What are we going to talk about? Where have you been in the past year?
So, I don't know when I became a world traveler, but I guess being in this whole pandemic lockdown, it's funny, like I became a world traveler fully embodying that because of the lockdown when we were pretty landlocked and locked in, but I somehow got out and was able to intuitively know to leave before we had lockdown here. And that brought me to Costa Rica. And from that moment on, I became this traveler. I've been like just last week, I came back from Costa Rica. 4 months before that, I was in India. And before India, I was in New York. Then before that, last year in June, because I was in New York for 6 months, I was in Nepal for 6 to 8 weeks. And right before that, I was in Costa Rica. And I went to Mexico a couple of times in between. And then keep going backwards. During lockdown, I was in Costa Rica and Mexico. And then right before lockdown, I was in Sedona, Arizona. And those are the trips I remember of recent. And I'm going to Sedona at the end of September.
You are?
I'm going with you. We're doing a retreat, which we got to talk about for sure at some point.
Yeah.
And right after that, I'm going to Egypt and Israel, and Cyprus, and then eventually back to Costa Rica and wherever the world takes me. I've been kind of living and just trusting what comes up, and just allowing that to guide me, which is not always the easiest thing to do. It's a lot easier when you don't have a lot of attachments and too many responsibilities, but we always have responsibility, and it's really taking these leaps of faith like I did by not, choosing to stay in Costa Rica and realizing I want to create my reality back and forth. And I want to travel. I want to be able to serve while I travel. So, just like we had that conversation the other day, right? I was like, how did we start talking about Sedona?
One of our friends, Corinne, wanted me to go to like Brazil or something for a retreat. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Send me the link. And she sent me the link and I was like, it's booked already. And she's like, so I said, well, why don't we go someplace else? And she said, Sedona. And then you called immediately after and I told you the conversation and you were like, Sedona. And then we just, took it from there.
Yeah, I think we were, because when you were saying that, and I know you said you wanted to go to Sedona, and I just did some retreats in Costa Rica the year before. But when I went to Sedona in 2019 in October, when I was there, I was like, I'm gonna come back here for sure, which of course you are at some point.
Right.
The energy is freaking amazing, Sunshine. And
I haven't been, so I'm excited.
yeah, and then I was like, I'm going to create a retreat next time I come. So when we were talking, I was like, and you were like, yeah, I've been thinking about doing a retreat. I remember this. And you were like, and but I don't know, it just hasn't aligned yet. And I was just like, and I was telling you I want to do a retreat if I'm going to go, and you're just like, let's just do it. And you can see, and me, I'm always like, I get excited, then I'm like, I don't know, and then you're just like, let's just do it. We want to go. And you said like, I already knew I was going to create this. Like, it was
Right.
already, I didn't know it was going to be with you.
Yeah.
And here we are. And so I never told you about my journey, like with Sedona.
No, you didn't. You showed me pictures, but I didn't hear the journey part.
So, oh my God, Sunshine, Sedona is freaking incredible. Now, when I love Costa Rica also, and it's funny because about 6 years ago, I had a law of attraction journal, right?
Okay.
And it had a list of things you got to manifest in your life. And I said, I'm going to live in 10 different places and travel and live there a lot, like keep revisiting and create retreats and all this stuff. And my number one place was Costa Rica. My number 2 was Sedona. Number 3 was Thailand. And I never been to Costa Rica yet. So it's really crazy.
Yeah.
And then I ended up going to Costa Rica, but I've never been to Thailand. But I had Sedona, and I think when I wrote that, I hadn't been to Sedona either. It just, when you're on this journey, you kind of like hear these places, something inside of you tells you like, yeah, I need to go there at some point. And so when I went in 2019, I was with someone at the time. We were just dating before it got serious. And she was in between her jobs. And she was just like, what should I do? And I was like, you always want to do the sound healing training. Why don't you go do the sound healing training and look up some places? And Sedona popped up for her. And I was like, oh my God, you should go there because Sedona is supposed to be amazing. And if you go, I think I'll go too. I could get to hang out with her, but I always want to go Sedona. And it was like a sound healing training. I'm like, sure. And I was like, I'll do that too. And she was like, okay. And it just happened.
Yeah. Now
we did this a month before, and the training was like 4 days. But we, so we wanted to go for a week so we could spend time. And we were so like getting to know each other. So we got like a 3-bedroom Airbnb. So we each had our own bed and then an extra bed to do whatever we felt like doing.
Right.
So, and which, I was celibate for 3.5 years before this. So,
okay.
So we go, and so the few days before we're going, all right, so this is how I remember the story. A few days before I'm going, or a week before, she had, she was flying, she tells me she's flying in air, like she took some pilot lessons, something on her list that she wanted to do. So, yeah, they got pilot lessons at Groupon. So if someone's out there and they want to do something they really want to do, and just do it. So she went and she's telling me about it. And out of nowhere, what comes out my mouth is something like, do pigs fly or pigs are flying? And I'm just like, comes out my mouth, and she's just like, wait, what? And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I'm ready. I'm like inside it's like my heart starts beating fast. I'm like, why did I just say that?
Yeah.
And I didn't think of her like, luckily she was in a good place where she was just like, okay, like kind of just like let it go very easily, like where I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, oh my God, but I have no idea why that came up, So 2 days before my Sedona trip, or maybe it was 3 days, don't know exactly, I go to my float place, and the one in Deer Park, and both float centers, we have these float journals where when people come out, they sometimes want to write their experiences in. Yeah. And it was before the pandemic, we had, they were out in both locations, and we would push people to do it. And it's amazing to see. I have stuff from 7 years ago. So whenever I used to come to the store, one of the things I enjoyed doing was like reading about the most recent ones of people writing something in there. It's just awesome to see as the owner. and I open it. There's like a piece of paper sticking out in a float journal. I have a picture of this somewhere. And I open the book, Sunshine. I open this book, and inside it says, it's you remember like back in the movies or back in art, like in the 80s, 90s, that people would cut out stuff from magazines and it looked like a ransom note, with like little scrapbook.
Yes.
So I open it, and the words are like that, and it goes, pigs are flying, and there's pigs flying and pictures of pigs that are cut out from magazines and printed copies. I never told you this. This is 2 days before
You
Sedona.
Right.
So this shows up, like, what kind of impossibility is that?
Marilyn.
Hey, Marilyn. So what are the chances that I say this out of nowhere to this girl, like, do pigs fly, which is the most rudest thing in the world, and after she flew a plane,
Not rude.
it's very rude. Trying to, like, you're just starting to date her. And then I open this journal, my flow place, and this piece of paper, like, it's 8x11, where it says pigs are flying, and there's pictures of pigs flying cut out from a magazine all over the piece of paper, not just one, like 10 of them, like all over.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing, right? So, we're booking rooms over there, and I'm going, and then I realized the days we're going is my Hindu religion, where my parents, it's like Diwali, which is our New Year, and my parents like, oh, you're not gonna be here for Diwali. I'm like, well, I booked this training and this trip already. I'm going to Sedona. So they're like, oh, okay. So then I realized it was Diwali. So it was the Friday before I left to Phoenix, because you got to go take a flight to Phoenix before you got to take a 2-3 hour ride from there to Sedona. And, that Friday, my mom calls me. She's like, you're going to go to Sedona. Today's the day of Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is the goddess in our religion that brings us abundance. And she's like, today you should pray to her. And it's funny. I call the girl I'm hanging out with, dating at the time, and I let her know that, hey, today's the day of Lakshmi. And she's just like, no way. She's like, I just chanted a mantra to Lakshmi.
Wow.
Now she was listening to it on YouTube, and I was like, oh my God, amazing. There's a little synchronicity there. But then also, just to let you know, on Sunday, in 2 days from that day, is the day of Lakshmi, is our Diwali holiday, and you also do a big prayer to Lakshmi also, my parents said. So I'm like, wow, that's so amazing. So we're getting on the airplane on Saturday, and we don't have an Airbnb for Sunday. So I'd messaged one. That was the only day we didn't have an Airbnb, because we had this other place, and for the whole week except that Sunday. So then I'm looking, and I messaged this lady. So I call this lady, and I forgot what she called herself, but I call her and I start speaking to her, and she goes, hey, and she goes, so you could take my place on Sunday. And I go, oh, amazing. So when we get there on Sunday, right before, sorry, we're on the phone, and she's telling me, she goes, oh, by the way, I changed my name. I'm like, oh, what'd you change your name to? And we're having this great conversation. She goes, my name is now Lakshmi. Wow. I'm like, get out of here, right? She's like, my name is Lakshmi. So I'm like, how did that happen? And I explained to her, like, what just happened the day before. She goes, oh, my name is Lakshmi because I think it was because she found something on the ground, and at that moment she's like, I'm abundant, and she got another real estate Airbnb that she didn't expect, that she was praying to Lakshmi for. So since she got that Airbnb, she's like, from now on, I'm going to call myself Lakshmi to honor Lakshmi.
Wow.
So I was just like, amazing. So we land to Phoenix on Saturday night. I'm driving to Sedona the next morning. We stop at this kava bar on the way, Sunshine. These are the synchronicities that happen. I stop in there, and I go inside. We get a kava drink on the way. That was a little rest stop. And kava, by the way, guys, there's no alcohol. It's a Malaysian drink. Kava bars are created so that people have a space that they could feel like they're in a bar, but there's no alcohol. You could have a conversation. You can hang. It's a root from Malaysia. It's, I like the vibe. I'm personally, kava doesn't work great with me, but I was at this kava bar, and it was I'm talking to this girl, and her name is the same name as like my ex, like from 4 years ago. And then she goes and she has the same puppy, like same dog. She has a Chihuahua.
Okay.
And then I go, "What's your?" It's the same exact Chihuahua color, everything, and the same name as my ex from like 5 years ago. And then she goes, and then she says, "This is the name of it, and this is its nickname." And the nickname was Tiny, and forgot the dog's name, but it was the same exact name
That's
of
so funny.
her and the dogs. And this is just on the way to Sedona. So I get to Sedona that Sunday, and Lakshmi meets us because I think we got lost. And she's like, "Okay, you're gonna follow me to my house. Like, we're close." And then we land at the house. She shows us. It's amazing. There's like a bird watching area. And then she goes, "So can I ask you, let me know if you guys are into this, but you ever heard of a kirtan?" I'm like, "Yes, I've heard of kirtan." She goes, "So 4 houses down in about 30 minutes, we're going to have a kirtan if you wanted to join." And I'm just like, get out of here. I knew I brought my Krishna t-shirt for a reason.
Yeah.
So we went 4 houses down. We didn't even have to drive. We walked. We get to a kirtan as soon as we land. I'm just laughing at myself. Like, how amazing is this?
Yeah.
Because I love kirtan. Guys, kirtan is like you're chanting mantras back and forth. It's just one of my medicines for me. So to land in Sedona and someone named Lakshmi invites me to go chant mantras in with her community, I go there and get there, and they already started the first mantra. So we start chanting, and then they had like this little halftime, and where they do over there they serve prasad, and the prasad is like a sweet that you get for when you're chanting to God, you could eat. So they have this prasad, and they serve the community this free food. It's their offering the community. And so I'm standing in line, and there's a lady in front of me, and she starts talking to me. And then she goes, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from New York." And then she goes, "Oh, wow. Back in the days, like I lived there, like, during my, hippie days, I lived there, and I was living with 2 women upstate." And she's like, and she was just going like this. She's like thinking, and she goes, "Oh yeah. And they had this crazy thing in the house." And she looks at me. She's like, "We had this thing called a float tank." And I'm serious. This is the first day. And I'm like, "Get out of here." So I tell her about my float place, and she's like, "No way." And we're just talking. And then I sit down to eat the food, and I'm sitting down eating the food, and this guy sits next to me, and he just starts talking, and he goes, I'm like, we're just talking. He's like, where are you from? I'm like, "I'm from New York." And he goes, "Oh, I'm from New York too. I just moved here 3 years ago." And he's like, "Where from?" I'm like, "Long Island." He's like, "Oh, me too, Long Island." I was like, "Wow." And he goes, "I'm actually from Northport." And I'm like, "Northport?" I'm like, "I got to show you something on the phone that I just showed Lakshmi before." So I go here, and I show him a video, and I show him a video of the kirtans we were doing 3 years ago, sunset kirtans at Crab Meadow Beach.
Right.
And we were doing that every Sunday at sunset during the summer, and there's kirtan, and I'm showing him, but he doesn't know, and he's just like, "Oh my God, that's the beach I grew up at," And I'm like, and then, so like, that's another synchronicity. And all of a sudden, we go into kirtan, and when I tell you we went into kirtan, they gave me a tambourine. Something took over me. I started standing up, and I'm just like chanting so loud, and they're like, I'm standing, there's like 5 musicians, I'm just staring at them. They're just going hard, and they're just like, whatever was happening, and they were aware. It was such an amazing community. That was day 1.
Yeah.
Day 1, sunshine. So like, this place was so magical. All these wild synchronicities happened. The next day, I go to see, the guy I was telling you about, Joe Wolf.
Yeah.
So there's this, I don't know if Lakshmi recommended him or I found him, whatever. The universe put us together, and me and the girl I'm with. So we go meet him in the morning, and he takes us to this little hike to this rebirthing cave, and we do this feather burning ceremony. He takes us to the medicine wheel. He shows us where the Buddhist stupa is, and we do this journey with him. But one of the reasons with the synchronicity I wanted to share you is he's like looking for animals and different things, and he says something to me. He's like, he sees two birds, right, flying, and he's like, okay. And he says, you're going to see 5 birds, and it means this. And I totally forgot what it meant, but it was really important. And
Yeah.
we watched, we saw 3, and he's like, just wait. Guess what? 5 birds didn't show up. You
Ah,
know, there was only 3. And, and then he made us do the medicine wheel, which is really powerful, and the feather burning ceremony. It was so powerful. This is the guy I was recommending that I spoke to him about having on our retreat. And
right.
he's in, he's like, he'll do a medicine ceremony with us and the feather burning thing. So I really, and he was talking about doing this wind prayer where I'll talk about that later. I'm going to get off topic. I definitely want to share about that. But so he tells me about this birds. It was an important message. He goes into the medicine wheel, which I had a powerful message in the medicine wheel. And don't remember it right now. Sorry, folks. But later that evening, the girl I'm with, she randomly is texting and sees that her friend is in town in Sedona and with her partner at the time. So she sees her friend and she's like, Hardy, like this person's here. And like, I just saw a picture. So they're texting back and forth pictures. So she goes and she texts me a picture, and it was right where we were. Like it was like, oh no, this was the next day. We were right there 5 minutes ago, and this girl like texts her a picture like of where we were, and she's like, "Where are you?" And she's like, "I'm right here." And we were like, we're figuring out where each other are. But in the background of her picture,
There's 5 birds.
there's the 2 other birds, the same
Oh,
exact birds that
yeah,
are
yeah,
flying. And me and her look at that and we count, and we're just like freaking we're just freaking out now
yeah.
because it was a specific message at that moment that I get these messages all the time in life, so I don't really remember it, but it was really important. And
At that time, yeah.
and he wasn't even worried. He was like, like, oh, I said you're gonna see 5 birds, you will, like, but I was like, okay, we waited. I guess we only saw 3. I guess this, it's not important,
Right,
or it's
right.
not gonna happen. But that was the other thing that happened, right? And so we're going through this sound healing journey training on the next day, and I'll share one more really powerful part of the journey because it's really, really important, and I want you to really know. And I might have told you this part. So this is a 4-day sound healing journey training. So we're learning. There was 2 teachers. It was a very small class, just 4 people, and we were on like one of the days where the lady was teaching us how to do a shamanic drum journey. So we had a shamanic drum journey happening for us, and I've done a shamanic drum journey with Davy Joe Benessi, which
Right.
we all know. He was on your podcast the week before. And the last time I had done one with him was when me and Donna Nelson were taking our Reiki master class with him. Like he wasn't our teacher throughout, but we took it together. Me and Donna wanted to take it together and make it a powerful triangle of us 3. And we were doing a shamanic drum journey with him. And as soon as he did it, he said he was going to do it. He's like, "This is you're going to see your power animal, and you're going to connect with it." For some reason, I blurted out. This is like 5 years ago during this Reiki training that, "Oh, I'm not going to see anything." And Sunshine, I never do that. I was like,
Right, yeah.
I was just like, you surrender to the moment. That's who I am. If
Yeah.
I just know it's something good's happening when I trust in the spirit. And
Right.
I was like, I'm not going to see anything. And he's just like, they both look at me like, why are you saying that? I'm like, I just know I'm not going to see anything. Like, just like that.
You
And
did
yeah. And then that day at the Reiki training 5 years ago, you know what I saw?
a flying pig.
No, that would be good. That would be good. That would make sense. That would intertwine the story. So I saw a king cobra.
Ooh.
So I knew it was a king cobra, and it was like standing up like this. And then I saw it racing towards the sun, and then there was 7 of them.
Wow.
This is the guy who said he wasn't going to see anything,
Yeah, yeah. You
But
see
so
7 of them.
yeah, and then for some reason, while I'm in Sedona, as soon as the lady's saying we're going to do a shamanic drum journey, I look at the girl next to me, and I'm just like, that I'm with, and I'm like, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. And already something's happened in the past. I was like, nah, nothing's going to happen. And she's like, why are you saying that? And I'm like, you never say this. I'm like, I don't know, nothing's going to happen. So the teachers are like, have a question and something's going to show up to give you an answer.
Right.
And the only question I had at that time was, why flying pigs? No, I'm kidding. It wasn't that. It was really like, so I had a question because I was at the flow place and I was transitioning. I wanted to transition out and focus on these events and retreats at the time.
Right.
I was doing sound healings every Monday. This is what I want chanting at kirtans and creating them and helping. So I wanted to really gather community and create events, but I didn't know the name of it. So I was like, what is the name of this organization going to be? So I just said it like that. I'm like, yeah, what's the name of this organization going to be? Yeah, nothing's going to happen for me. And Sunshine, Shiva shows up and says, pranic evolution.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, do you have like sound effects on this? Like, no, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well, they go.
Wait. Let's get to it. All right, ready?
Shiva says, pranic evolution. Well, I don't know. I feel like it needs to be a big explosion.
That's the first thing I get.
What was that?
Boom!
Boom! All right, Sunshine, you'll be the sound effect. So Shiva says a name, and of course, in my mind or my ego, whatever was like pops in and goes, pranic evolution. Like, could you give me another name, like the Great Big Awakening or something? What the heck is a pranic evolution? And then Shiva just comes as pranic evolution, and I'm just like, okay. And now I got this name from Shiva and I was questioning it. And I'm heading home from Sedona, and there's a lot more synchronicities that happen. It just, I wanted to give those powerful ones to give everybody an idea. Right. I remember I landed at home the next day after getting that message, and my partner at the time, she had her mom's birthday, so she had to do a surprise birthday. I'm just like on this flow, and when you're on this like journey, you're just like, I need to continue. And then I saw Sadhguru was coming to New York, and I didn't know much about him. I heard him once, didn't know if I connected with him, but I just wanted to continue. And he was going to be in Madison Square Garden. So I somehow go, okay, I'm getting these VIP tickets. I could get close. I don't even really have heard him once, but it's he knew what it seems like he knows what he's talking about at that time. And then I found out my good friend Alicia was going to be there. So I go there, and I didn't know that Sadhguru at the time was a really big Shiva devotee, huge. Yeah. And then I see Alicia, and we have lunch after, and I get this message, like intuitive message, that you're going to help me create this logo and this website for Pranic Evolution. Like, you're going to help me start this. And she was just like, okay, and I was like, yeah. And then that's what happened. I didn't know, I didn't know she was going to create the logo. I just knew she was supposed to help me. Right. And it turned into the website and the logo. And that's how Pranic Evolution began. So now but like the synchronicities all were powerful and led me to that. And this is and while I was in Sedona, this is why we had to do a retreat in Sedona, Sunshine, because you were being called to it. And then when we connected and the things that are just lining up. So you don't mind if we talk about it, right? And just let people know.
I don't mind. I mean, the show's about you, but you could talk about whatever you want.
Yeah. So Sedona, we're going to be doing a retreat to Sedona. Some people I started already telling, and like I told you that the other day.
Yeah. I told a few people too.
Yes, I know. And we discussed this. We don't even have we're just putting the website and everything together, and we just getting the information together. Because that's not our forte. Me and you just love creating the journey, holding space, getting the word out, making it very powerful and intentional. So we were just trying to get this together. So Sedona, I'm really, really, truly so excited, Sunshine. I'm excited for you to experience it for the first time in
Yeah.
this way. Um, we when we connected with it, it was just like we knew we were doing it, and then one day, I
Well, I
sometimes
knew we were doing it.
yeah, me, I was questioning it. I knew I was going to do it one day. I just didn't know if
Right.
now was the time.
I was like, let's just do it. Let's just do it.
We're we're looking at places, and we're getting in our heads about little things, and like, oh, well, people want to live like this, or like, what kind of place should we get? And just all these things that we're putting out. And then we saw this house, or not even this house, this retreat space, this castle.
Yeah. And it was actually the first one we looked at
It was
too.
the first one we looked at. It was just like, okay, this is a little expensive, but you saw my heart going, we have to do this.
Hey, Deb.
Hey, Deb. We had to do this place because the place was freaking amazing. It was Sky Castle.
Yeah.
Sky Castle. And I remember when we were like, okay, should we? So instead of making a plan and a budget and figuring all this other stuff out, me and Sunshine's like, you really want this place? I was like, yeah, like you're like, you got your heart set on this place, We checked out a few other places. I'm like, this got to be so she's like, all right, then put the deposit. I was like, we don't want to do a budget. She's like, we kind of have an idea. Let's just do it. That'll just get the ball rolling. So we put down a couple of $1,000s right there, and we just booked it. And Sunshine, you have to post. Can you put the pictures on the comments of the space?
Well, I actually have them on my messenger. So keep talking and I'll get it up.
Yeah, because if you show like the house is like, or the retreats is the castle is in the sky. It's amazing. There's like red rocks behind it. It's got a hot tub. It's got a space where the sun sets, which to me, sunsets, for those of who may know me, play a big role in the events I do. So I always want sunsets. Whether I was in Costa Rica, I did events surrounding sunsets, or whether I was in New York, if I'm doing outside events, it involves a sunset a lot. And this house has the sun sets behind the red rocks.
Can you see it?
Oh, yes.
Wait. Here's the house.
You're the best, Sunshine.
Ah!
And you said you weren't tech savvy as much.
Well, I've been trying to do a website, so I have, but that's the front. Look at the view on that.
Yes. And oh my God, every time I look at it, like that looks like a Sedona castle.
Yeah.
Like, put on the picture with the sunset place.
Oh, I don't know where that is. I'm gonna just go what I have.
No, there's like
the one of the bedrooms.
The girls meditating, so then it's like, or you could just show with the yoga mats. Oh, there you go.
There she
Yeah,
is.
so that yoga platform, the yoga mat platform, that's for the sunsets, and we're gonna be doing, the sound healing activation. So I'm working on working. It's in our backyard. We're gonna go get someone to do a journey like there. There's a hot tub there that's looking over. That's pretty cool.
There's hammocks everywhere.
Yeah, there's hammocks.
A big bathtub. And that's where I'm going to be doing Purple Love one-on-one.
Oh, that's probably the best place you've ever done Purple Love with that view, right?
Here's the thing again.
Oh my God. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about the journey, so Sedona in itself is just freaking amazing. Like, for whoever's went, it is awesome. Like, there's a different energy when you go to different places. There's a huge difference when you leave New York. And like, I remember when I landed in Costa Rica, I just felt different. I knew we were like, this is like an amazing place. And you'll feel that anytime you go to Costa Rica. It has its own energy. It's a pura vida.
Yeah.
The vibration is happiness, and there's fast growth there. Like, you throw a seed on the ground, it grows,
Yeah.
And that's the energy of it. So whatever you do, you're going to grow very quickly, which is not always the best thing, as we've all learned, but it is what's needed, and it's not always easy.
When is this retreat?
Well, Oh, so the retreat.
Oh wait, I actually have a picture of that too.
The
Wait.
retreat is September 21st to September 25th. And then me and Sunshine didn't even realize that when we booked the dates, then we were like, wait a second. And I'm like Mr. Solstice guy. Like I know all the solstices. It's during the fall equinox, which is halfway through on a Saturday, which
Yeah.
is the day is like half light, half dark. It's known for massive like transformation and shifting.
Ah, it's Mary's birthday.
Oh my
So
God. Like,
funny.
look at that. That's another synchronicity of Mary. If you're feeling of coming because you're connected to your higher self on your birthday. It's a very powerful time for you to manifest and set intentions. Um, a lot of people end up eating bad food and drinking on that day. And I tell people, don't keep your channels clear because you have your deepest connection with your higher self. That portal's open. They have the opportunity to manifest anything they want at the highest, like a probability of like everything happening. So really important. So Mary, I think maybe you're meant to come, or just make sure you're doing something that's amazing on your birthday. That supports that.
Yeah.
So the equinox, it's on the equinox 21st to 25th, and it's just massive. I think what do we call it? The
Yeah.
Sedona Equinox Retreat. Very simple,
Yes,
but
we're
it's during
very
the
fancy.
but the energy is very powerful. So like as I was saying in Costa Rica, it was very powerful how I felt the energy of growth. When I went to Sedona, like I just explained to you guys all the stuff that went. Yeah, no, I don't know if it's a Mercury retrograde, but
Yeah, no,
we
not
will,
with us.
we will check.
We'll have to check it out.
We'll have to check it out, but either way we're going. We might just have to go a
Yeah,
day
we're
early then.
booked already.
We're going no matter what.
We're going no
And
matter what. Even if you guys don't want to come with us, we're going.
and I think nine or 10 people could come with us, so it's amazing.
Yes.
And so Sedona's energy, you feel the vibration of Sedona, no matter if you're sensitive to energy or if you're not.
Right.
You're gonna feel massive healing just being in there. So they say that there's like all these vortexes there, like there's 4 main vortexes, but Sedona itself is a vortex.
Yeah.
And a vortex is like this powerful energy, like it's spinning around like this. This is a vortex. Like, the energy of like a hurricane or a tornado is a vortex, a cyclone. It goes around in circles like this. So you feel it in your body when you really meditate, for when you guys are sensitive, and it goes up like this. So imagine Sedona's this energy just activating all your chakras, and like when you're connecting with the land and just touching the ground. And now we're going to be staying at a house. Like we honestly could do nothing. And yeah, I keep calling it a house because it's like, because all these castles are my homes. That's how I look at it. Because I have a castle in Costa Rica. I call it my home, so it's my house, but it's like it's a castle. And when we sit there, like just being at this castle, we won't even need to do anything else by just being there, and it's going to be powerful. And then me and you start creating this journey, and just the basics of the journey is what?
Like 20 things listed.
We have 20 things listed, but like the way I was explaining to you before, and it's like whenever I do events or journeys, it's really important to me that we have some of the stuff structured, but a lot of it I get spirit, like intuitive. It's my gift, is how I create events and different things. Is I like to connect, figure out, and then I sometimes rearrange things because it's just the journey is going to, and then we realize at the end why some of this had to happen in this specific sequence, in this order.
Right.
And right now, like we know we're going to do one of your inner child workshops, like that, with Purple Love, like that. And we've decided that we're going to start with that right now. The day we land there, at night, we're going to do that. And then the next 2 nights, we're going to be doing these pranic rebirthing breathwork journeys. And some people have done one with me and they know how powerful that is. And now we're going to have 2. So now just at night and I know a lot of your people have done your inner child work, and I heard such great things, Sunshine, of how powerful it's been for people. Yeah. So now we're going to be doing this 1, 2, 3 at night in Sedona with us two holding space. So it's gonna be just massive transformation in that aspect. And then we have all these things we're lining up during the day.
Right.
What do we say? Like, I think I spoke to one person I had to connect with there, and I'm seeing if they're gonna be available to do a sunset sound healing journey with like didgeridoos and stuff.
Yeah.
Right there on those rocks outside in our backyard.
Yeah.
The castle's backyard.
Yeah.
And then one morning we're going to do a sunrise activation on the equinox. So on the equinox, our plan is to do a sunrise activation on the airport Mesa vortex. It's a very simple hike, so it's not like really hard, but it overlooks the whole Sedona. And when it's dark and then it gets light, so we're going to do and we're not sure how it's going to look, because that's going to be very intuitive as we channel the energy of Sedona and just the power of the equinox. And that's going to be the third day, I feel. So we already know we're going to be doing that. And that's going to be powerful. Just sitting there and meditating is what I did last time.
Right.
And it's like super dark. And then all of a sudden it just becomes all light. And you see all these red rocks all over. And you're so activated. And on that day, that it's such a blessing that, and we didn't even know we chose that time.
Yeah.
So it's meant to be, so I'm excited to see how spirit works and interweaves that into what magic that's going to create that morning.
Yeah.
And then, what was that? So that's the airport vortex, the airport Mesa vortex. It's really close to our house.
I'm trying to think. You said the cathedral.
Yeah, so there's the cathedral vortex, which is really close to our house. So we're going to be doing, for whoever wants, they'll be optional. We'll be doing some light hikes for whoever wants, because we have a creek right near the house and swimming holes that are like a couple minutes away. So you could follow there. Some people are going to you just want to like meditate there. Some people I know you said you're going to go jump in the water, right?
Yes, I am. In the middle of a desert. Who doesn't want to? I actually have pictures of that. Do you want me to show those?
All right. Sunshine has to show her pictures of the water holes because she's the most excited beyond anything about the water holes.
That's the stupa, right?
Oh, so that stupa, since you have it up, you want me to share?
Yeah.
So it's a Buddhist stupa, and basically we just go there and we follow through with, they have instructions of how we go, and I think it's 3 circles around, and you're setting intentions and blessings. And you're actually, what I found is we're going to be sending prayers to the world when we do that. It's not for us, it's which is us, but we're going to be sending blessings and prayers, and we're going to do this as a group, and we're going to go there. And, I think it's the second day or something. And before we go to the medicine wheel, and just spend some time doing that, because I think it's really important that when we're going to this powerful journey and we're in this powerful vortex, it's an opportunity for us to really send out well wishes to the rest of the world and, our family, our friends, and whoever comes to mind, and in general, the whole world, because it's needed. And I think whoever's going to come is going to be truly blessed to be able to make it. So, it's really a powerful intention to spend some time and go around that Buddhist stupa in our own energy and silence, but sending these attentions, and there's instructions for it there, and we'll have some other instructions. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Some Buddhist tradition. But let's see your swimming holes.
All right, wait. I'm trying to figure it out again.
Yeah.
Is it on? I can't see.
Yeah, that's the creek that's behind the house or close to the house.
It's a 10-minute walk from the house. And so is this. And you see the little swimming holes.
Oh, there's those are swimming holes, and I think that's Cathedral Rock.
I have this picture, and this picture. So one of them's Cathedral Rock. The other one, I think this is the airport vortex.
No, I don't think that's the airport vortex. I don't remember that, but
And this one,
I think that might be 2 sides of it, of
okay.
the cathedral, or like a different angle.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna do the Cathedral Rock.
Either way.
Oh, we're also gonna go. There's a amazing chapel there, the Chapel of the Holy Cross.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
And I feel called. Like I went last time. I felt amazing in the energy. The architecture of the place and the view from there is amazing. So it's definitely something like it's like we have to do when we go to Sedona, and it's right near our place too. Did you? I'll show if you can. You pull up a picture of that. It might be on Google.
All right, now you're pushing it. Let me
Well, just
see.
do it on your own time. When it pops up, I'll post. Like we'll show it.
What is it called? Chapel
The whole Chapel of Holy Cross.
Chapel of Holy Cross. Arizona.
Sedona.
Sedona. Images.
Wow.
Did it come up? No.
No.
Oh, this is really cool. All right, let me go back here. The two of us are not technology. So let's see. Share. Are you seeing it? Because I can't see the screen now.
Yeah, you can click on that one.
Which one? This
Any
one?
of them, yeah. Just I guess maximize it one at a time or something.
I don't know if I can. Well, you get the gist, right?
Yeah, it's just like the architecture from the outside. It just looks really cool.
Yeah.
I have my own pictures, which I could put up, but I'm using my phone right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna definitely do that too.
Okay.
There's, we're talking to the Kirtan people there because they played a role, and we're gonna try to fit that in too. So it's kind of cool because the medicine wheel is like Native American, which is very connected to the land. That Buddhist stupa, a Buddhist monk decided to do it, and they prayed on the land because they knew something special about the land, and they put the Buddhist stupa, and the medicine wheel is right near it, and they decided to keep it there. So there's like Native American tradition, there's Buddhist tradition there. Now here there's Catholic, and in this land, and there's people doing kirtan. So it's really nice that we're going to bring some mantra into this.
Yeah.
So it's like we're really just mixing everything and connecting with the energy of the land. So I'm really excited about that. And and one of the things I do when I do retreats, and I told you it was really important to me, and then you just agreed right away, you were actually on it, is when I did Costa Rica, we always do we make sure that we're creating an environment where it's really deep work.
Yeah.
That's our number one. We're going to see some places, but we're going there in a energetic, what pranic evolution for me means is an energetic transformation created in a space of love and rooted in love.
Right.
And the journey, and what I said last year, and this is why I think me and Sunshine connected, so well when I've shared this with you, is that I want to hold space for and create journeys or events that create massive transformation in the shortest amount of time in a space held with love, where I also feel that I'm getting a lot of love out of it. So, and how do we do that in the biggest way? We want to create ripples, right? Sunshine is always talking about ripples. We want to create waves. So this journey, is, when I created it in Costa Rica, it was very powerful because we just listened and the things just came together. And this is how it's coming together here. Like, to me and Sunshine, it was really important that we have plant-based food, but we want to introduce it to some people that never had it. But me and her aren't going to cook. Like, we don't got time to do all that. We're really focused on really creating a container that everybody could really have massive transformation. So we've been looking, and we found, and I think we're going to go with her, but we haven't said it yet. We found the chef who's like a premier chef there, and she's a plant-based chef that lives this, but she cooks these amazing meals. So we're going to show you guys how you could eat a plant-based meal and how it's just as delicious as stuff that we're having at home. And it's going to be done by a chef. But the best part is she chants mantras and she prays on all the food. And I think she comes out and plays like a Tibetan bowl. So I think we're probably going to go with her because now I'm talking about her. And she just showed up.
The ice cream man goes by.
Yes, you heard that, right? Oh yeah, you're at the same house. Me and Sunshine, I'm in the front of her house, and she's in the back because she's like, we're gonna have a podcast, and she's like, you better have good reception because I've seen what happened at Michael's and what happened at mine last time, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna come over just to play it safe.
And
Um,
she actually just spent 3 years in an ashram.
yes, and I can't wait to speak to her because you just spoke to her
Yeah, I did.
and you
Yeah.
texted me all this stuff, but we saw her on Instagram and stuff, and we kind of knew we're like, oh, she's a little expensive, but she's it. I think she's the one. So
Yeah.
yeah, like we just spend that, because we had a few people we're interviewing, but I think that she's the one. Um, Also, like what I did in Costa Rica was we were doing coconut water fasting and juice cleansing, but since we're doing hikes and stuff with me and Sunshine, like let's introduce them to something that's very easy. So we're introducing you guys to plant-based food, but we're also going to introduce you to like intermediate fasting, which is very simple, where it's like we're just condensing meals in a shorter window. So yes, it doesn't mean you're not going to eat. You're just not
We're
eating.
not starving you.
We're not starving. We're not going to eat at 9 p.m. at night or 10 p.m. before you sleep because it's the worst time to eat food. Right before you fall asleep. We're not going to be up till 3 in the morning because we're not partying. So just for all you people that think there's going to be no alcohol. There's no smoking. It's substance free, alcohol free, pet free, and children free. It's just going to be us doing the work. And we're going to be doing the work every night. We're going to be sharing and we're going to go to sleep. And we're going to have very light mornings. And what you guys are going to see is what's going to happen with the land, the vortexes are going to power us up. And when you eat less and put less in your body, there's less density. And when you're less dense, you're more connected to this vibration, and the vibration is able to be manipulated and changed how spirit sees fit.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going through a lot, and
We're gonna be shedding.
shedding. Yes. Hello, Donna. And so we're going to have this massive transformation that's going to be happening. So, I'm excited to really go on this journey and create massive change while we're going to be seeing these beautiful sights. And we're also going to have some time in between because that's very important every day for a couple of hours in the afternoon where people could go on their own little lake hike, hang out in nature, go in the hot tub, or just go shopping or get there's readings you could do or get one-on-one with Sunshine or just hang out or take a nap. It's going to be their time. But I'm just really excited about, I was like, where did you go, Sunshine?
I went and got the babies.
The baby and the babies aren't coming to Sedona, right?
No, I already have the dog sitters all lined up.
Powerful, very powerful. Yeah, I'm excited. So I was just saying, I was just telling them like how they're gonna have some alone time and me time.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be the hammocks are all around, and like we said, the hike is right there. 10-minute away trails.
They have a map in the house where they have a bunch of trails, and we're gonna have, and we're pretty much covering everything except the flight. We're gonna have transportation from the airport to the house. We're gonna have the meals, and we're gonna have all the journeys at night. We're gonna have all these things going on during the day. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see.
You said kirtan. We're gonna probably try a kirtan.
Yeah, because
out there.
Because I was explaining to them before, and I actually got off topic, was that when I create stuff, I really listen to spirit, and it's very intuitive. So sometimes we might switch things because intuitively, or the universe guides it by weather or something. But like I'm also very intuitive, so it's like we'll know if the group is going to do chanting. We're going to be definitely doing 2 journeys with the pranic rebirthing journeys with the breath work and the mantra chanting and all that put together. We're going to be doing the inner child, and we're probably going to get that sound healer at sunset on the equinox. So the equinox is going to be superpower day. What I see is morning. We're going to that sunrise. We're going to do that activation on the airport vortex. And where it's completely dark, and then we're going to see the whole view. It's a very easy hike. It's nothing. It's like a 2-minute or 5-minute walk.
Right.
Because we're gonna take a shortcut. We're not gonna do like the 2-mile hike. We're gonna drive right up.
In the van.
And that's gonna be the morning. And then the evening, and that's a sunrise. At sunset, we're going to probably be doing the sound activation journey in our backyard, in that beautiful space, and then we're going to do our last journey with the breath and everything. And we haven't even figured out the other little things that we got planned, which I have some ideas that have been coming through, but we'll see. Everything's, a lot of it's going to be intuitive and a lot of it's going to be planned. This is how we do things. And I think it comes from the highest place. So that's what's really important. And everybody will feel safe. They'll feel loved. I just know whoever's going to be attracted to it's going to show up. And I've already got a few people interested. They're waiting, and I was like, well, we don't have everything up. And I know, Sunshine, you're just like, don't be a perfectionist. Just allow people if they want, and it'll be first come, first serve.
So funny, yeah.
Yeah, so
we're opposite that way,
Yeah, so I'm really excited to do those. It's those 4 nights and 5 days, and just hang out with it. Get to know 9 other new people, and go to like the land of Sedona. Because I'm also I did jump on this, just like I'm going to Egypt and Israel, and then going back to Costa Rica. Is like I realized things are changing so quickly, like massive transformations happening in the collective, and I don't know how many opportunities we're going to get. And it's like I'm not thinking about finances and time as much as before, because that trip to Egypt I'm spending in October, where I'm going with the partner I'm with, her teacher, is very expensive, and I didn't have it financially, but I'm just kind of like, I'm just going to surrender because I'll never know when I'm going to go.
Right.
Now is the time, and it just feels called to create these activations. Like the other thing, we didn't even start talking about was, now that I'm back, I'm like ready, Sunshine. Like, as I was telling you, like I'm going to be spending time at the flow place, but less and less, because I really feel called to create this pranic evolution. Like lots of events, lots of gatherings. It's time to reconnect everyone and just start creating these portals all over the island so that we could gather and just all transcend and activate, heal. There's so many people that we don't realize that we need to all heal.
Yes.
And it's time. And I know this is one of my gifts that the universe has given me. It's my soul's purpose, is to create these journeys, whether it be 7 days in Sedona, or like next Wednesday, we're doing the summer solstice at 4:44 in the morning at Robert Moses Beach 5. For the solstice, we're going to chant mantras and kirtan. And, this is what I used to do, 5-6 years ago. And then we're going to do sunset kirtan at the Funky Om. So it's going to, and then I'm probably going to be doing things in between, because the summer solstice is it should be a holiday. It should be a holiday where everybody should take time, connect with the sun, and just power up. You're going to feel it. Even if it's cloudy, you'll feel it. Very powerful. Just like the autumn equinox and the winter solstice and the spring equinox, they're all powerful moments. So we're going through a time where we really need to, and like healing, like a lot of people aren't spending the time to heal themselves. There's healers, everybody's, space holding, but are they doing the deep work? And are they showing up for themselves? And what people don't realize is like, you need to show up for yourselves so you can show up for others. And, and it happens, because it's happened to me. Like, we get in our egos a little bit. It's like, oh, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to get work done by this person, which is fine. But find someone that you connect with, that you know is going to hold space for you, and do the deeper work. That's why I'm excited about this journey also that we're creating. Is it's 4 days. It's going to be awesome. We get to see Sedona, but it's like, Sedona in itself is a powerful transformative land. And then what we're creating in our container is like, even if we did it here, just one of those nights is powerful.
Right.
And people have said that already. So imagine doing 3 nights of that in Sedona, in that beautiful castle, besides everything else we do during the day. So I that's, what my gift is really creating these journeys, and then finding really heart-based centered people to work with, like you, Sunshine. Like we magically connected, and we knew we were meant to, and I loved what we were doing. I saw that it was coming from a beautiful place. Just the other people I've been working with and co-facilitating with, they've done the deep work. So I did Dave and Lexi. I do my Costa Rica retreats, and you're working with them. It's like, a Alicia, like I just know certain people that come in my life that I'm working with because we're continuously doing the work, we're showing up, and we're creating at the same time, but we're always doing the work. And we're listening to what the universe or God presents itself, and we're showing up for that. Um, and that's why I want to create more events so that there's more gatherings. I want to create this Pranic Evolution is going to be a place that people could go to on a website and see what else is going on that's aligned with what our mission is, you
Right.
know? So
It's so important to do the work, because some people think that we're here to heal them. No, you're supposed to be healing yourself. We're just guiding you.
yeah, we're no one's everyone's a healer and no one's a healer, right?
Right.
Everyone's their own healer, and that's
Yeah.
all it is, you know. All we are is we're just I like to say, one of the is I'm just an instrument, right? We're just
Right.
instruments, and we listen, so we're able to create these beautiful containers, and then we just surrender and allow spirit to play
Sure.
through us, and whatever music comes out, whatever dance shows up, whatever happens, if we totally surrender, it's just magic.
Yeah.
And that's all we are. We're just instruments, and I love being the instrument. I love being played.
Of
you know
course. And, also we do it with fun. We do it with love and joy. So it's not like we're going to, be sitting there crying the whole time. We're going to be,
I don't know. I think there's gonna be a little crying going on.
well, there's going to be crying, but there's going to be also joy and love and, connection and all that good stuff.
Oh, and you know me with hugs. So
Yes, lots of hugging.
lots of hugging. When I do hugs, I hold people for like, and Sunshine knows this. I
Yeah,
hold people for at least 20, 30 seconds minimum. And
minimum.
people get awkward and like they'll start getting out. And I do this now every time before I do one of my journeys here because I want people to connect with my energy.
Yeah.
So I hold them and I just continue to sink in and sink in because I know scientifically it's 20 seconds is really important. I don't count 20. I just know I'm doing 20 or more. And I
Right.
just want the person to feel really good. And, I've done healing. I've done these journeys where the hug itself was what opened the person up
Oh,
and they broke
yeah,
down
definitely.
because they hadn't held someone in that way maybe their whole life.
Yeah. I
You
do
know,
that before my energy work. It's a mandatory hug,
mandatory hug. So
before they get on the table. I'm like, mandatory hug.
it, it's really important someone to connect with your energy and
Yeah.
just to be held.
Yeah.
And anyone who's listening there, because I saw such beautiful people who said hello already, and I love you all. And I do, go and when you hug someone, I want you to hold them for 20 seconds. Hold your family, the ones you love, the ones you're not sure if you love. Just hold them. I promise you, it's gonna be so powerful for you and them.
Yeah.
And
And
when you're
feel whatever you're feeling when you're hugging, right?
allow it to come up, and
Wow.
and if you don't know what to say to someone, you're holding space for someone, ask him if you could hug them, and then just hold them. You don't never need to say anything. If you just someone's spilling all this stuff out and they're going through something, ask him if you could hug them, and then hold them and hold them, and then hold them more.
And send love.
Because when you hold them, your hearts are connecting, you're becoming one, and it's just this human connection that's so needed in this day and age. Because each and day we're losing that connection more and more. So be a part of that. Be that impact in that person's life. Someone who's never maybe even hugged anyone in the past 10 years. Maybe the last time they hugged someone was at a funeral, you know? So maybe just people just need to be held.
Yeah.
Really important.
Human contact.
Yeah, human contact. Oh, so I'm what else am I doing? So that's kind of, why I'm here. right now. I'm feeling led. I've been living my life intuitively. I left to Costa Rica during lockdown, right before lockdown, 2 weeks. And ever since, I was in the jungle living in an ayahuasca retreat center for 2 months and manifested this beautiful castle there. And then kind of weaved in and out of when to come here, when not to. And I've just been trusting. So right now it's like, do these retreats. We're going to Egypt, going to Israel. Last year it's like, do your teacher training in Nepal. And this year I went to India to see family in January, and then Costa Rica. And it's just like, I don't even know financially if I'm going to be able to handle all this, because I've been dipping in my savings, but I've totally surrendered, Sunshine, and allowed life to just take me where it needs to. I was in an ashram in Nepal, and waking up 4 a.m. in the cold, had to take a shower, dress up in white, and the hot water wouldn't work, and I don't like the cold at that time, but you have to take a shower before you go in front of the temple, in front of the deities, and then you got to sit cross-legged for an hour. My body wasn't even ready for it. I couldn't even hardly do it. And like chant these mantras, which they had in the book. Then you have to do all these pujas around a fire. So you're doing that for the first 2 hours. Then you go and change, and you're putting a neti pot in your nose, and stuff's coming out to clear your nose. And then you're doing your first yoga class, and you go through a yoga class into a learning, a class, and then breakfast. That's like by 10:30, you've done all this. And that's just the beginning of the day. There was like 12-hour days in Nepal. And Nepal is pretty powerful too. It's, like all these religions and cultures merge. So that was a big part of my journey. We'll talk about that another time. We started with Sedona because we're going there, and that's like my powerful energetic travel started with Sedona, and a lot of it was Costa Rica after and right before, and then it goes into like Nepal, India, and then it's going to be Sedona again in Egypt. And when I went to Mexico, I was doing these sweat lodges. Hello, Donna. I was talking about you before. Really quickly. So, and I think the Sedona thing is going to be the launch of, I'm going to do stuff in Costa Rica in 2024 also. But something about Sedona just feels so activating with you, Sunshine. Like, and just every aspect and everything has been so synchronistic in my life. So I just trust and go. That's why I put the deposit that day when we were like, we should do it. And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, really? We don't have anything planned. And we're like, you're like, just do it. You got the space. That's the most important thing, and the dates. And I was like, okay. And then 2 hours later, you text me, did you do it? I'm like, not yet. You sure? And then I was like, then I just look at the pictures of the space, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. It has to happen. And then everything just started unfolding this whole week, right? Like,
even with the chef, we were looking at chefs, and I think I saw her first on Instagram, and we were looking at her, and then you called Chocolate Tree, and they recommended a woman, and we messaged the woman, and the woman's like, no, I can't do it that week. And I asked her if she could recommend anybody, and it ended up being
the same girl
that we were like, ooh.
And then we look at her videos, and she's chanting mantras while she's making the food, and she's talking about kirtan, I was like, okay, the the signs are there. You're probably going to be cooking for us. And then her menu looks freaking delicious.
Yes.
Oh my God. So we're going to have a private chef that I think we're going to solidify this week. We got to get a site up, or like, I know you've been working on it. Should we just set it up, even if it's not like 100% ready, and just kind of, so that, because there's people that are already asking, because I know we were saying like, so guys, I think we're going to we're doing 24.44 for 4 nights and 5 days. And we're going to do a deposit to hold the spot, because we're going to do, I think, 10 people the most. And it's 444 deposit. And, we're doing the transportation from the airport of Phoenix. We're all going to take the airplane together, hopefully, so that we can land around the same time.
Yeah. And the plane tickets were only $350.
But that wouldn't be included in the retreat.
So I have the list. So what we're including in that package is the round trip shuttle service for the Phoenix airport, right?
Yeah.
All the transportation in Sedona, the accommodations at the Sky Castle, the meals by our premier chef, the Sunset Sound Healing Journey, the Inner Child, the Violet Flame, Pranic, Rebirth, Medicine Wheel Ceremony, Kirtan, intentional spiritual renewal at the Buddha Stupa, light hikes, sunrise activation at the Mesa Vortex. And the list just keeps going on. It's like 5 more things.
Yeah. So like but basically
that's all included in that price, you
So
know?
we talked about how important it was to make it easy for the people, and at the same time for us as facilitators, so that we could really do the work.
Yeah.
And do the work in a way that's enjoyable.
Yeah, you guys don't have to stress about anything.
Yeah, so it's just like, let's try to, so we're trying to make it as simple as possible. I mean, we're getting a little hard with this website and trying to, because we want it's so amazing, it being us two and what we're about to bring to the table, and the space, and it being Sedona, that it's really hard to like get everything out there in such a beautiful like portrait. So I'm glad we did this and we spoke about it, actually, because now it's kind of out there and I could just send people this.
So what I did, because I tried doing its own website, and it's a funny thing, me and Hardy were both like, well, what are you gonna, are you gonna do it? No, I'm not gonna do it. Are you gonna do it? Because we're usually we just show up for things, So I ended up putting just a page on my website about it,
Oh, that's cool. So thank you for doing that. But my perfectionism will come and I'll be like, hey, you should change this. This has got to look like this. And then I'm gonna be like,
just ignore you.
Oh, it was just 1:11:44 when we were talking about it.
That's so funny.
And you were speaking at that moment. That means you're supposed to continue doing it now. Yeah, so that's set. That's gonna be amazing. So I'm back here in New York. I've been doing breathwork journeys in New Jersey. I've been doing them tomorrow. We have one, but that's sold out. I'm gonna be doing it monthly at Free Spirit Yoga in Patchogue. I'm doing one at Liz Fazio in Nassau for people in Nassau. I've been talking to Marcy at the Salt Cave, so we're gonna be doing one soon. So I'm like slowly transitioning to creating events. And then, with the summer solstice on the 21st, I don't know what I did. I was like, yeah, we're going to do it. And I talked to Davy Joe Millard, and a few others. And it's like, yeah, let's do it. And now I'm like, all right. So anybody who wants to wake up on the summer solstice at 444 Beach 5, Robert Moses, we're going to do some mantra chanting at sunrise. And hopefully the weather's good. I did this years ago. I think Donna, don't know if one or both of the Donnas were there. I don't know if they made it. But every year after we tried to do it, and it was always raining. And then one year we just moved it to the Funky Home because it was raining again.
Yeah.
In the evenings, it was always fine, but it was just always the mornings after the first year. The first year I did like 80 people showed up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right, Donna? It was like 80 people spread out. Half of them never even did kirtan. This was like 7-8 years ago when it was just like beginning of my journey, and the people invited, it was like the first time they're meeting each other, and it was like and the sun was like, and sunshine. The sun, it's cloudy, right? So I'm like, we're all chanting mantras. It's cloudy, and then at some point when it gets to the highest place, the clouds open up. I swear to you, and it's like a portal open, and the sun was just sending its rays to us all.
I love it.
And
I believe.
See, Donna, she was there, so she knows. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I'm always guided to like create these things, and it's not meaning that I have to lead them. It's just to create, because every single person who shows up plays a role. So it's like for example, the retreat. It's not me, Sunshine, just facilitating. So whoever shows up, they're playing a trigger for someone, and every Pleiade plays a role. Same thing with the solstice. We're going to be, whoever shows up, we're all going to be active channels for this beautiful energy, and we're going to spread it to the island or whatever. It's just going to happen. And we
Right.
don't even need to know why. We just need to show up if we're able to. And if you're not able to show up, just do something and connect to the sun that day. Take some time off and just do whatever you can. If it's extra meditation, working with your crystals, working with whatever gifts you have or whatever works for you, do something more that day. It's a day I believe should be a holiday in the world, and everybody should just be focused on working with the sun, on
Right.
the energy, because it's the longest day of the year, of light. So you're getting the most amount of sun,
Yeah.
So yes,
How long? It's at 4:44. How long do you guys stay? The whole day?
no, not the whole day, but like it's nothing I'm planning. I'm just putting it together. It's not like a professional, like I might have a flyer up in the next day. It's just like putting it together just to gather everyone. There's nobody
Yeah.
making money. It's just the whole point of gathering everyone. And I'm going to intuitively allow and guide people which ones are going to chant, and then whoever wants to do anything after. Like I remember one year people started doing like that, like afterwards somebody started teaching yoga, somebody started doing this in one side, some people stayed and were like, here, we're going to hang out here all day and stay in the beach, and we went in the water and just started hanging out.
Yeah. Donna said she went to work afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what some people did. They came and they took their kids to school after.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Jamie did that. I think she showed up and like, I don't know if she brought the kids and then took them to school, or like I
Yeah.
feel like she did that, but it was a while ago. So it'll just be another thing to gather. I think it's, we need to gather, all of us,
Yeah.
just by being around each other, we're lifting each other up. So
That's
it's
right.
really important, with the only intention is to gather and expand and grow. So hopefully I
Nourish and inspire.
yes, heal and expand.
Yes.
We got to keep going with this. Love and be loved.
Yes. I love it. We are limitless.
Yes. And what's key is everybody, all of us, if we continue doing the work on ourselves, because it doesn't stop, it's the most important thing that we can do. So when you're going through a tough time and you're just like, I need to make money, this is going on in my life, just remember, and you're like, what am I doing with my life? Like, oh my God, I feel like I went 5 steps back. You never go 5 steps back. Just remember that, because it feels like you fell off, but you're just going deeper layer of your own healing so that you could be a stronger conduit for that love.
Right.
Yeah, and you're in the middle of it. It might feel like you went backwards, but you're not. Because if you went through the same cycle and you're repeating it, what happened is at the same time you're repeating it, so you're like, oh, I'm wasting time. But at the same time, you're learning how to heal from that even deeper. So then your foundation in that healing has grown stronger roots. So this time that plant could thrive because the roots are so strong and it's able to get the sunlight and be watered. And now it's going to be anchored in. So keep that in mind,
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's
So
important. It's so important.
Sunshine, I could keep talking forever, but I don't know if everybody else,
Ah!
I
But
still
we're
have
gonna
it.
cut you off because we were see, I can't even talk anymore. An hour and 20 minutes. Oh, someone just said, Lynn, thank you, Hardy. I needed that.
Well, before you guys go, I want to say one thing. I need to say one thing. So I really guys want you to listen to this. I heard this and it's been my strong message for the last month and a half. I'm going to post a video on Instagram. It's going to be very simple. It's 2 sentences pretty much, or 1 sentence twice. So just listen. One person living in unconditional love, embodying unconditional love, is more powerful than 1 million people living in fear. So let me repeat that. One person living and embodying unconditional love is more powerful than 1 million people living in fear. If you get goosebumps, understand that's why it's so important that all of us keep striving on working on ourselves. Because it just takes one person. And that's, we live in a time where sometimes it feels like the whole world's falling apart. It's just lots of chaos. And be like, there's no way. Everyone's suffering when you look around. But just remember that one person could affect 1 million people. And I said that to Davy Joe. He sent me a page that he read in a textbook that explains this with the scientific number of how many people exactly. Wow. And I was like, get out of here. So this is some truth to it. And I hope everyone could hear that message, because that's like a resounding message that I want to share with all the ones that are aware that they're on this journey, all the space holders, the ones that are opening their hearts and awakening to the truth of who we truly are. That's all we need to do. We have to wake up to that truth and surrender to unconditional love. And when we're living that, that's not even a ripple. That's not even a small wave. That's not even a splash. That's, what are those big waves called again?
Tsunami.
It's a tsunami. Tidal waves. And it's a tidal wave of love and change. So keep working on ourselves, and it never ends, and it feels like that. It feels like you're just suffering. But know that when you're suffering, I'm looking at you with so much love, because when you're suffering, you're doing the work. Yeah. Even if you choose, you don't want the suffering, you're doing the work. And when I honor you for all going through what every single one of you is going through, know that I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Sunshine, for having me on this and being such a beautiful sister and of service to so many and supporting us all. Thank you.
Yeah, fill ourselves up and then let it overflow, right? That love, that unconditional love. Yay. Thank you, everybody who watched tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening and loving us, because we love you guys. And I hope everybody has a magical evening. And may we all be, I don't even know. I'm like so excited about everything. Live in harmony, peace, and love.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. Feel the right in the world of task for sure.